Well, hello everybody. I'm looking tiny tonight. I'll make myself bigger in a minute. Welcome to our Who Newsnight on Saturday, the 18th of October, 2025. Never a moment goes by without something new being said. This is a different time from the first wilderness years or hiatus years, whatever you want to call them. Online media and social activity means bushfires start so fast. Tonight we have Jane Tranter, the co-founder of Bad Wolf's Outbursts and defence of the Doctor Who situation. Plenty to get our teeth into there. And you can see here the incoming headlines tonight. Bad Wolf bites back. Jane Tranter, Sheeman, Rob Sheeman, of course, of Dalek, is rude. Doctor Who is not dead. She has no time for online warriors. Bad Wolf, 10 years of celebrations at the same time as well. So there's a bit of everything really tonight. So, and of course, it's all hot on the heels of Rob Sheeman's interview with Doctor Who magazine when he said basically Doctor Who is as dead as we've ever known. He later did actually say he didn't mean to make it sound so rude, but it's been taken as a rudeness. And of course, in the context of the Wolves are after RTD. Now, this was a show I did in June, just to remind everybody. I've been saying he's lost his job for months now. And that's just to say, once there's a vacuum, once there's a power vacuum, you get people trying to fill the gap. So, she did, by the way, Jane Tranter, and all her kind of outbursts and explosions at the moment. She did say this, though, last year. The hunt for lost episodes never stops. Philip Morris's work is detective genius, and any update will be a gift to fans everywhere. And of course, my job is always to do that. And tomorrow night, live at 8 p.m, there's more from Phil Morris. Not a repeat, more from Philip Morris. And there's a little taster. I've got little film segments with him because he's also been on again to do a special cliffhangers show that you'll see in about a week's time. So there's a lot tomorrow night. And I've also got an update specific from Film is Fabulous tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So you've got a double whammy. Philip Morris, update. Film is Fabulous, update. Live at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So I better start saying hello to the panel and getting everybody on. So Sean, he's not far away. He's down the road. Good to see you back, Sean, from Review yourself.
Cheers, mate. Nice to be back. Hello, everyone.
Hello. You will find everybody. There's a little time lag, and we'll try and manage it as best we can. We'll do a song and dance or something in the meantime. And we'll go over to Texas. Good old Christian.
Howdy. Good to be here.
I'll get just a bit bigger in a minute. And just to complete the quartet, he's normally on with me talking about the character options, and he's on tonight. Here he is. It's Steve.
Hello.
There you go. This is what they actually look like for real, although Sean's on a kind of witness protection program, so he's there. But there we go. The quartet, you've got the topics, and we're ready to go. Actually, it was Sean, wasn't it, Sean, who you were fired up tonight about actually what the topic was about Jane Tranter and Bad Wolf, wasn't it, Sean?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that picture, I know we'll get to it, that picture of RTD, in front of the portrait of him, I just was like, I messaged you, didn't I? And paging Dr. Freud. It was just like perfect.
So there you go. So there's plenty to talk about tonight. My God, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to have fun over the next few days because you've got this one, which is very hot to trot. Then we're back onto the missing episodes with the update from the people in the know, both Philip Morris and Film is Fabulous. And I've even got more. I mean, I'll tell you a lot later, but there you go. So I suppose let's get hot to trot. Let's get going. And of course, I think we should all sing happy birthday first. It's happy birthday to Bad Wolf. They are 10 years old. So, whee! Aren't we happy? Steve, isn't this amazing? They're not going anywhere. They're a good, they're a good team.
I think we all suffered a 5-second delay ourselves in wishing them anything just then. I noticed there was a distinct lack of any well wishes towards them.
Oh, bless him.
Well, actually, one of the things I find remarkable is, okay, 10 years old. Isn't it interesting to note the decline in Doctor Who probably goes back about 10 years? I wonder if there's a correlation here.
And it is a shame, isn't it, Sean? Because that they've done this. I like the Discovery of Riches, for example. They did that the industry, which was about the stock exchange and all the usual shenanigans there. They've done other stuff which I've liked actually. And the early Doctor Who was good, mind you. That was under the BBC, not under Bad Wolf, wasn't it, Sean?
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. And I think everybody hoped that when Bad Wolf got involved, it was TD bringing it back in house, to out. Oh, boy, were we wrong. So like Steve just said, he's just so 10 years. Everybody just thinks, it feels like more bad faith at the minute with people. It's like, just if it's gone, just be quiet about it. It's been buried. It's getting lowered into the ground. Just be quiet, be solemn, be respectful. Stop shouting and being like, then it's not dead. Stop saying it's dead. Crack the casket open any minute. Just let it quietly go with a little bit of grace and decorum.
But Sean, you're that killjoy. I'm just doing the opening warm up of the happy birthday, and you're already no. I mean, I'm just getting the candles on the cake, and you're already kicking off. I mean, but so here we go. Let's just sound happy families for a minute. Me and the boss, Jane Tranter. I think he's trying to hint that she's still his boss and he's still there. Oh, that's nice. With a portrait of me by Maddie Atwood. What an honour. Lots of love hearts because, of course, he's been booted. And yes, that's the corner of the TARDIS behind me. Woohoo! But last night celebrated 10 years of the company named after Rose Tyler's alter ego, and celebrated its presence in Wales, creating jobs, blah, 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 blah. Oh, feel a love, Sean, before I move to the other two. I mean, Sean, you love this picture. It's a beautiful picture.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, you've just to look at the different colour shades of his hands to just think this is a damn masterpiece. It really is. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. It could be on the Masters. I mean, Christian, you're missing out the cultural history in this country.
Oh my gosh. I'm just thinking, you hit the nail on the head. Ego. We aren't talking Rose Tyler's alter ego. We're talking pure RTD ego on full display.
And Steve, do you want a copy?
Yeah, I'll put it in my bathroom. Behind the toilet, so I don't have to look at it all the time, just when I walk in. I'm trying to think though, I don't know which RTD looks more smug in that picture. Is it the real one or the painted one? They're trying to out smug each other or something. It's just
I suppose. Do you know what? You could do a clever joke about this, because there's RTD1 and RTD2 there. And one of them's nice, and one of them looked after Doctor Who, and one of them wrecked Doctor Who. Which one is it? But two RTDs for one. We never knew when we were lucky. So, right. But it gets worse, folks. It gets worse, because it is happy birthday, of course. So there's Peter McTighe. Some people are wanting him to be the next showrunner. Some people think he already is. Some people are saying no. And then he's going, celebrating 10 years of Bad Wolf TV. The Iris Prize Film Festival's Pink Portraits 2025 showcases images of LGBTQ plus professionals who have worked on Bad Wolf productions since 2017. And RTD goes, oh, what a photo. Russell Tovey, Ruth Madeley, they're all in on it. I mean, do you know, I feel as though I'm missing out, Christian.
Yeah, you've been left in the lurch. I mean, look at all these wonderful, talented people and incredible things we have the capacity to celebrate. Oh my gosh. It makes me so happy. I would just want to pull my hair out.
Well, and I'm apparently one of the alphabet people. I haven't been invited yet. You know, a YouTuber of the year for the Middlesbrough area. Sector 7. I mean, no. I mean, Sean, I don't want you to feel excluded from the alphabet people, but, look at this. You too could have worked at Bad Wolf if only you had one of the alphabets relevant.
Brendan, you've known me for long enough now. We've met, we've shared a pint, right? Listen, not shared a pint. We've talked over a pint, right?
That
You-
time's
Yeah,
coming.
well, I'm
do
not
you
sharing
really
a pint
think
with you,
can the
will
cats? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So it's just a strange one, isn't it? You know, you just I don't. It's not. I'm not interested in like, you know, what the who they go out with. It's not relevant to the job they do. If the plane crashes, I'm not going to be there going, right, the pilots, right, we got the it's the product that we're seeing. The fact that they're part of a different community, great, fantastic, they've made television, but they haven't. So it's like, what yourselves about here? Because it's certainly not the work. It is certainly not the work.
Well, as I come to stay, I want to say hello to Peter. There's as many as I can. Hasler Scott, good to see you after a few weeks. I know people are busy, people do other things. My timings are all over the place. Unexpected Fire. Oh God, I can see loads here. Mad Mackham's back. Farsight, of course. We've got Tony Farrell's TARDIS. I saw your video earlier today because of the anniversary of Doctor Who. Peter Venkman's fan site. Phil and Grant G, Cybermat Strike. There's loads, and I'll keep trying to say hi as we go along. So, Steve, I'm sorry about this. We'll get off the alphabet people in a minute, okay, Steve?
Well, I hope I did a good job of doing it subtly, but I've just had to bring up the Wikipedia page for Bad Wolf because other than Doctor Who, I have no idea what they've ever actually achieved or done. And I'm looking at the Wikipedia of all of the shows, and it's like, oh, I heard of that one, never watched it. I heard of that one, never watched it, never interested me. There's only literally Doctor Who that they've done that I think people will know of them. They might have seen the odd, like Red Eye. I do remember hearing about that, but I never watched it. So I think there might be a lot of shows where people go, "Oh, was it them who produced it? I didn't know that." Because there's literally, I said Doctor Who.
I did like the Discovery of Witches, I'll be honest with you. And I suppose because it was their 10th anniversary and they wanted to celebrate it, and there's not much good news at the moment, they dragged Prince William along. We did that recently, but just to remind you, that was the relevance of it. And they tried to get the publicity shots and everything. You know, they've got a bit of artwork for RTD to try and make some publicity and love. They've got Prince William. They're trying to make a thing of it, but I don't think it's working, is it? So that is our first area, and of course we're now going to get right into the headlines. But first, we need a bit of Jeopardy. Here we go. Shocking. But there you go. I'm on the road to killing more of them off. So, where are we going to go first? Well, of course, we're going to head here. It was in various places, but she's been talking about the state of Doctor Who today. And this is when our thread will start to kick off and give her advice. So, we all know the story. The BBC and BBC Studios, they have a partnership with Disney Plus for 26 episodes. 21 have been shown, 5 haven't. And once that spin-off's been shown, they'll have a word with us about what decisions have been made. Yes, we know, my God. So that's where we stand. But of course, she updated us, didn't she? So she said this month, it's a 60-year-old franchise. Never. It's been going for 20 years non-stop. They sound knackered, don't they? Since we brought it back in 2005. You would expect it to change, wouldn't you? Yeah, but not this much. Nothing continues the same. Yeah, I feel the excuses coming in. Or it shouldn't continue the same always. Or Jane Tranter, if it could go back to Classic Who for a while, I wouldn't mind, because Classic Who hasn't been on telly since 1989. So actually, can we change back to that? Never mind your tinkering with the tinkerings. What will happen next is between the BBC Studios and Disney Plus, and Bad Wolf certainly won't be the first to know. That was a funny one at the end, that curveball, Sean, when suddenly she goes, we won't be the first to know. Of course, the BBC owns this, and the Bad Wolf are supplying the content. So, yeah, Disney will have a word with the BBC. As I've been saying forever, they already know, Sean.
Yeah, yeah, it costs to do. It smacks of the whole, well, like, you know, when somebody asks you at work, it's nothing to do with you. Like, you're like, look, I'm just on the ground floor. Like, it's nothing to do with me. It's decisions that have been made very high above my, you know, I'm sure we'll expect this. And you know, when you just fluff a professional question, you're like, I give a answer. That's all this is. I'd love to pull this out of work. I've been working here for 4 years. You'd expect work to change, you know. Yeah, but you're doing half what you did a year ago. Well, things are changed. It's not always going to stay the same. It's just like, oh, stop with the excuses. Sell it to me. You're meant to be selling these shows to us, or like, you know, saying, oh, don't worry, it's going to come back. We're not sure when, but you know, it's all your socks off. But they've forgotten. They've totally forgotten.
What are you thinking, Christian?
Yeah, I think Sean hit the nail on the head. It smacks of rationalizations and excuses. Going for 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, 2 months, it doesn't matter. Things are going to change. Well, yeah, things change in day-to-day life. But what you're saying is that when things change, they should not necessarily change for the worse. And what we have seen over the course of the decade is things changed consistently for the worse. So that excuse I shelve. Let's see. Oh, what should I see between the BBC and Disney Plus and Bad Wolf? Well, Bad Wolf won't be the first to know. Now she's trying to put out a disclaimer that they aren't in the loop. But in a way, that admits that they are, in fact, out of the loop. What does that suggest about where Bad Wolf sits in the eyes of the BBC? So she did inadvertently slip one tidbit of information.
She did. I mean, Steve, just looking at this content for now, I mean, 20 years non-stop. Yeah, that's a good go. I mean, 20 years of the classic Who would take us to 1983, 1984, and actually it just started to change for the wrong reasons then. But, so I'm one of those Doctor Who fans who do think you sometimes have to rest the blooming thing for a while. I've realised that. But rest means, and change means, new blood, fresh blood. Then, as a few people in the thread have been saying, they need their hands taken off it now, Steve.
Yeah, but everyone seems to be passing it on to everybody else. RTD's done it. Oh, it's out of my hands. They're saying, oh, it's not in our hands. Everyone just seems to be looking for everybody else to give the answer. It's like, don't look at me, look at them. And it just seems like nobody wants to give a definite answer. But to say, you'd expect it to change, wouldn't you? That seems like, you know, a bit like, well, we changed it because we had to, not because they clearly just wanted it to change. That's how I see it.
I think that's a good point to make. The program, I don't watch many programs actually, but if you look at formats, I mean, Strictly Come Dancing was on again tonight. I flicked through it. It looks roughly the same. They've tinkered with something to do with the judges. That's about it. The format has stayed the same for 20 years. No big change there. You look at Big Brother, the format's roughly the same. You look at, EastEnders, you look at Coronation Street, the format's the same. You go through program by program by program, Line of Duty, the lot, Traitors. The format is the same. So I'm trying to comprehend, and I think, Steve, you were hitting it on the head there, that basically, why do we need to change? Yeah, you refresh things. To be honest, we all understood once Barry Letts left and Philip Hinchcliffe joined, that was the change that you needed. That was it. Go on, Sean, I can see you dying to come in. Yeah.
No, it's no. I think there's. So I think it's a blame game. I think saying the emphasis on the change, it's subtly putting the blame on the current state of the show instead of on the creators or the people creating the content. It puts it on the audience. It puts it subtly on the audience to say, well, of course we've had to change it. Like your show's changed since you started it. My show has. Like, it happens. You adapt. You try ideas that don't go anywhere. People don't listen to it. Well, not you. I'm talking about myself. I'm being selfish. I'm RTDing it. But you try things, you see what works, but you stick with the same basic principle, the same, and they haven't done that. So then, instead of taking the onus on them and admitting, if we cocked up, if we made a mistake, they've decided, well, it's, if some people aren't happy with the change, there's nothing we can do. But we're the audience. You meant to impress us, not the other way around. So it's at the audience Like it's not our fault you're unhappy with the images we've made. We think it's amazing, so I don't understand why you don't like it.
Well, I'm going to do a show, a news bite this week, because I've sat on those final cumulative figures for the season's ratings. And you know I was the rating specialist. And as Toonami says, yeah, I've spotted it as well. The Traitors has got 11.7 million for being on at 9 p.m. and later. Sorry, no excuse in the world, RTD and Bad Wolf and BBC. You need to get with the script. So, yeah, I'll do an update on that because I think it just deserves it. And just before I bring Christian in with the latest one, Timmy, I can't keep up with these names. They're great. Timmy Ting Tong. How could you mess pure gold and mess it up on an industrial scale? Sack the whole team. Or are you Chris Eccleston in disguise? Problem being, good to see you, Lee. The most divisive lie they've let thrive is the notion that the show is about change. I know, Lee. I know they have ran on that for too long now. And just a couple more, Christian. Rob Fellows, but Bad Wolf, BBC and Disney Plus all have the same worldview. There'll be no going back as the message is hardwired into those organisations. And you list some other streamers where it's the same. So if they buy themselves into it, it's not brilliant. And one more before we move on, an unexpected fire. Maybe the chat can refresh my memory about this guy who said Tranter should be sacked. What was the name of the guy? Christian. I think he played the Ninth Doctor.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, yes. Something Eccleston maybe.
Yeah, but he got cancelled for a while, didn't he? Though that was the thing.
Right. Yeah. They said he was tired.
Oh yeah. He was the Harriet Jones of his time. So here we go, Steve. We've got Jane Tranter, and I just wanted to remind everybody this. She said only last month, then and only then does Disney Plus have to make a decision after the 26 episodes whether or not they want to do more. It's not a question of if Doctor Who returns, but when and how. And Steve, that's not a bad. It's not a bad answer because she's doing PR. It's a clever answer because sometime in the future, between 2025 and 3064, I think there may be an episode of New Doctor Who. It's just when and if. That's all, Steve.
It smacks of a little bit of like, just shut up asking. We don't know. We'll tell you. We don't have a clue. It's again, but what I was saying, it's other people. Oh, it's not us. Don't ask us. We don't know. It's them. It's Disney Plus. It's all down to them. Blame Disney Plus. Everybody tweet Disney. Don't ask me. I don't know. It's just there's no. It's the art of answering a question without giving an answer. It's just,
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, everybody, I contacted the source about what she said, and I've got the source's feedback as well. You're gonna get a bit of that as well. So I've got a media insider talking about another media insider, as well as what you all think. And yeah, I mean, it's all there. I'll continue just a little bit more. There's them too, looking glum as co-founders of Bad Wolf in the good old days, I'm sure. So here we go. And I should kind of just hype it up, shouldn't I? You know me, I like to hype it up. Yes, if you're new to me, you don't realise I have a sauce here, I have a sauce there, all of my chips, it's all there, yeah. And so basically, my media insider keeps me in the loop, just like Philip Morris is becoming a good mate as well now, and hey, God, it's all happening. But what did he say about what she said of recent note, first of all? He said, nothing's changed, Brendan. Whether or not Disney have communicated feedback to Bad Wolf on the show's tone and direction, the fans certainly have, and the tumbling ratings speak for themselves. That's the start of it. I'll show you exactly what he says, and then I'll bring you in, Sean, right? So I'll just get 2 more slides. Of course, she's going to say this. She has a business to protect, and it's completely understandable that she will defend the content she has produced. Final one. There's nothing to see here, just a business leader steering her ship through choppy waters and doing it well, Sean.
Oh, Can we have a little applause? Chat, do a little applause or a little ripple at home. Come on. Well done. I'm sorry to go Roy Keane. I'm sorry to go Roy Keane. But it's a job. Like, that's literally her job. No one comes into my office and goes, "Can I just, you're steering us through choppy waters. You're doing me like, come on." This is when it does my head in, because like it's like these people don't like, if I understand, if you produce something and it has well, you're not going to come out and crap all over it, because it'll destroy, it'll burn a lot of bridges. And I think bridges, that kind of, industry are very, very important, your links and things like that. So you probably don't want to do. I get it, but there is a great thing that the English in particular used to be very good at, which I'm not very good at. But the strength of silence, of just not saying anything, like a dignified silence. Just try it one time. Just just don't say anything.
Well, you do every 5 minutes on this show. No, sorry.
Actually, Brendan, I'm looking at the comment. She is steering her ship through choppy waters and doing it well. Here's the question. Did you have to choose a direction that would take you through choppy waters, or were there safe, stable seas that you could have sailed through smoothly? That's a choice.
If you want to continue that analogy, you were in dock.
Yeah.
There were no waves. You made your own waves. It's like when you get in the bath. The bath water is still. It's your backside that makes the ripples.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think you're very right there. Stay not about bath water, but about this.
Yeah, it's just I don't. I've lost my train of thought now. Thanks for that.
Oh yeah, you're thinking of me in the bath. I know it's but it's a problematic at the best of times. Sorry. So basically, my source, and he is a media insider. He is a media producer. So we go to him for obvious reasons, and he is a Doctor Who fan, and he is in on a lot of what's going on. But in a way, I wasn't surprised by him giving her fair due respect. But he also is saying on that first slide, well, whatever, if they're pretending they've not heard from Disney, Steve, they have heard from the fans, and they have heard from the ratings. I mean, there is news that's come in.
There's something that I think it was Matt Smith said about the new paradigm Daleks. He literally just said they didn't quite work the way they was intended, so we went back to the old design. And he was diplomatic about it, but he essentially just was truthful that nobody really took to them the way they wanted, and he just admitted it. So we went back to the old design, or the producers decided. I think for the fans at least, it would go a long way if someone at Bad Wolf just turned around and went, "It's not worked how we wanted. We've gone in a direction. This is because RTD says it all the time. The producers felt strongly about XYZ." So if she just turned around and went, "We felt strongly about doing it like this, and it's not worked. Disney have decided it's not for them either." And I think from a fan point of view, I think that would go a long way to restoring some faith. I know that their ego will never let them do that.
Well, I would say, Steve, you are spot on. True devoted fans can be very forgiving if they know that corrections will be made and they will receive what they wanted and expected. If anyone remembers the Sonic debacle, they were animating the character of Sonic, and the initial animation was soundly panned everywhere. The studio took that to heart and said, "We apologize, our bad, we're going to fix it." They turned around and gave the fans what they wanted, and the fans were very gracious, and the movie turned out to be successful. If they had the humility to come in and say, "We made a mistake. We thought it would work. It didn't. We're going to retool and course correct." But as you pointed out, I don't think their egos will allow them to admit they made a mistake.
Well, your great an English teaching analogy of the waters and choosing your direction has got them all going. Whether you've gone the Titanic route, you've hit an iceberg with an ice warrior in it. I've mentioned the bath. Lee's mentioned choppy waters, more like capsizing in the wake of walk. I feel like Bad Wolf has now become barnacles on a ship. I mean, can we get them off? They're clinging to it like So yes, that's opened it all. So it's great to see everybody all full of humour at this time of night. We haven't even started on Rob Shearman yet, and that Doctor Who isn't dead, and how rude. I mean, we haven't even started. This is the warm up. This is the first act.
This is the intro.
Yes. The preamble
foreplay.
to Nami. Well, yeah, the head of drama knows what's going on with Doctor Who, but Kate and Lindsay Salt are clearly going in a different direction with the show, wherever that may be. And Toonami, if your name is Brian, you may find I've got one of your quotes tonight as well in the next little bit of feedback too. So let's toddle on. That was my source saying, fair enough, choppy waters. Thanks for the analogy. There's the two co-founders of Bad Wolf, just in case you forgot since the 2 minutes beforehand. And just to remind you before we do move on that RTD himself a few months ago now was saying we're going to have a pause for a few years. So they do know that Disney's not coming back. Can we just say what it is on the tin? I mean, Disney are not committing to this, and they know there's going to therefore be a pause. I'm sorry, but in television, if somebody like a streamer won't make a decision, it's because they're not going to make a decision. The decision's going to just let it fizzle out and expire. Don't you think, Sean? I can't see how suddenly Disney is going to make the BBC sweat for a few years and then suddenly say, right, let's make another 26 episodes at speed. Go!
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I totally agree. I think, when you're leading something, and I can't for the life of me remember what film it is because I watch far too much and read too much. But, a good leader, you have to keep making decisions. Even if they're the wrong decisions, you have to keep making decisions because you're the one who's, leading it, steering the ship, trying to fish the if we're sticking with the analogies. You're the one who's meant to be sorting this out. But they don't have a clue, do they?
I'm having a very difficult clue about your bath. A turd in the bath. I mean, Lee Smith likes me talking about tossing time turds down the time vortex, but that's different to having a turd in the bath, Sean.
Don't pretend it's never. Don't come up with me, Brendan. Don't pretend it's never happened. Come on, we've all done it. We've all got a crack a little light, and it's turned out to be a little bit more solid than we wanted. It's happened. It's happened, And if anyone from Bad Wolf is listening, look, I've had to deal with your bleep. Now you're having to listen to mine. Just saying.
Yeah, but sitting in your own. I mean, well, everybody, there's a picture for you. So, oh dear, Brendan, how do you feel Alan Carr's chat show coming back on BBC One, getting paid $6 million over 4 years, but apparently they can't afford Doctor Who? Look, we understand. Make horror fan rock. Do a base under siege. Find a mansion somewhere and do it in the grounds like Seeds of Doom. Come on, you don't need to pay an absolute fortune. And actually, we can cope without major effects. I think the best effects, Steve, in Doctor Who, I will say this, is the right music, like Dudley Simpson, where it's really creepy, is brilliant editing and direction, so you get a build-up of suspense. The script has mystery, and it takes itself seriously. I don't know where the money is there, Steve.
Oh, the original classic era was known for its shoestring budget, and they made it work. It's just they didn't have a choice. Like I'm into Thunderbirds, and I watch a lot of the behind the scenes, and they did the same. It was like, can you make this happen? Well, and Jerry Anderson was like, no, can you make this happen? And then he just leave them to it. So it's that same thing of, if they wanted to, they could make it on a budget. I just think they're expecting people to want to pay for it. If it's not Disney, then obviously they're going to find somebody else.
I think they've started to just see Doctor Who as, merchandise, as a money spinner. And it should always be a money spinner as a side byproduct, but the content is quality. And the trouble is, they've gone for the byproduct and the quality is tanked. Forgotten Melody. Sorry, Steve, I'll just read this out and come back, yeah? Forgotten Melody. It's not the budget that's the reason why the programme failed. I agree with you. They had a good budget, but bad showrunners' priorities took the show down. I tell you what, if they'd made it creepy, if they'd really gone dark, if they'd took it seriously, didn't break the fourth wall, didn't do a musical, didn't have farts, didn't do this, didn't do that, didn't do a joke every few minutes, and didn't have a man in a dress, I think we might have been onto it. Small budget, but better backroom team is the future. Sorry, Steve.
No, I was just going to say, I think what was actually a detriment was the fact that Disney paid up front for the amount of episodes. They got the money. It's like, this is what we've got now. They had no incentive, obviously filming both series back to back as well. They had no incentive to improve because they had everything they needed. They had the network in Disney and iPlayer, and they had this money up front. So they could make that giant wheelchair-friendly TARDIS interior where no one in a wheelchair used it, and things like that. So they had it. So I thought that was a detriment because I don't know exactly how it works, but part of how shows make the money is selling the rights overseas, and they didn't have that. There was no competition between people saying we'll pay this, no, we'll pay this instead. It was just Disney, everyone.
But it never made any sense, Christian, to me, that if, as Steve's saying about wanting to make money and go globally, that if you go very kind of LGBTQ liberal and all that stuff, I'm not against it, you know me, I'm part of the alphabet, but if they go heavy on it to countries in the Middle East, to Far Eastern countries that are very conservative, that's not going global, because most of them will either censor a scene or not like the kind of vibe and not buy it. I mean,
Well, they're blind. They're blind to the inconsistency of what they want to accomplish and what the broader globe is receptive to. That's a big part of it. But to get into quality, if you look back at the writing of scripts for radio in the 30s and 40s, you had top quality writers, and that carried over into the 1960s and 70s because you had some brilliant writers from pre-television who had to craft the most riveting stories on no budget at all, just sound effects, in order to craft a compelling narrative. So it's possible to craft something that has broad universal appeal, even global appeal, if you're not targeting a small group and you're not layering into the content material that's going to largely be rejected. But I guess in defense of the lunatics running the asylum at Bad Wolf, they live in an echo chamber. I'm sure in their minds, since everyone that they know around them agrees that this is the way to go, they were certain it was going to somehow take off everywhere else.
And we're dovetailing around tonight. We're going to talk about Rob Sheeman, whether Doctor Who is dead, whether Rob Sheeman's been rude, all that sort of stuff. But also, I need to advertise for tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And here's a little taster. Let me just set it up first of all. And I will get it to exactly where I want it to. And here we go.
What he's undertaken, he's a lot to do. Please give them the space that they need. When the time comes, they'll announce something. Let it be a surprise to fans. Let's not know everything. We've got somebody there that's dealing with this. Let them. They will come back. They've let a bit of information out, and let it be a surprise. Something will come, and they'll announce it. Obviously, as soon as they're ready, basically.
Now, let me just get myself pressing the right buttons. Always a nice little gremlin. It is near midnight. Be fair for me. But basically, Philip Morris, he gives us an update. He was talking to John Franklin at Film is Fabulous on Friday. I was talking to John Franklin yesterday too. And obviously there's more to talk about, and I've got some brilliant questions for Philip Morris. So 8 p.m. tomorrow night. It's not just going to be him saying something and nothing. There's stuff in there. Okay, then, shall we continue with this? So the next little kind of cab on the rank is some of our online commenters when I've picked them up, and they've got some comments on this. So, for example, Jane Tranter has just said, we're waiting. And this William who says, if I was the BBC, I'd now just make Billy's story a big expended media event. I don't think it would be healthy to wait until 2027 or 8 to continue it on TV. If that's when TV Who is back, then you gotta make it a fresh start with a new doctor, fit for the future, no nostalgia, Christian.
Yes, fit for the future, no nostalgia. The reality is, by plugging Billy Piper in, they made a narrative faux pas that it's virtually impossible to get around. If it were a conventional, what I call cliffhanger, and you knew it was going to be resolved in 6 months or 4 months away, it's coming. We're going to see how this plays out. The audience would be receptive. But because this is going to be left dangling over a period of time that could stretch upwards of 5 years or longer, it's unreasonable to assume that that thread is going to be carried through. They're going to have to start fresh at that point.
And Sean, can I just say, as you're ready to come in, this is why Rob Sheeman, when we look at him in a minute, he said Doctor Who's dead, because he said creatively you can't just have Billy Piper standing at the door like She-Hulk for about 4 years with no movement. Writers on Big Finish and everywhere else can't move forward with their adventures because all you got so far is who is she, what is she, and unlike when you saw Ace and the Seventh Doctor walk off, you could still do adventures with them because they weren't dead. He hadn't regenerated, but now you've got an almighty mess, Sean.
Yeah, no, it is. You're right. It's. Oh, we've said it a million. I've said it a million times before on here that this not a show that's run out of. It's not creatively bankrupt. It hasn't reached the end in terms of we've just gone as far as we can with this. It's got to a point where it's been so kind of messed about with, and so it's been rejigged to the point where it's unrecognizable. And to top it all off, as you've just said, and as Sheeman's, they've essentially bookended it with 2005. And are you going to get Billy Piper back? Because she does well. She's in a lot of productions. She does a lot of theatre stuff. But, it's not going to be easy to get her back. But if you do manage to get back, even if it's just for a regeneration, continue on, how old is she going to be in terms of, how different is it going to look? I just mean in pure continuity terms here. I'm not on about her physically. But, it's just an unholy mess because it doesn't feel like somebody who was going, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make this really interesting. I've got a plan going forward. It felt like somebody who spat the dummy out, threw the pram over, set the pram on fire, and then blamed the people watching for the pram being on fire.
I tell you, can I just advise people, Sean is from a strange part of Middlesbrough. He poos in the bath and he burns babies' prams. It's very worrying. I don't know what's going on. All these analogies are kind of really funny. So what I shall do is...
You don't listen to my podcast, do you, Brendan? If you'd listened, I love an analogy.
Yeah. So, Christian, I will leave you with this one. You know me, I'm now going for a lie down because I'm an old man. And I will be back.
That's right. That's right. Just bad knees. We'll go with the Gatwick excuse. This puts to bed the recent rumors that Doctor Who was secretly in production again. They still don't have an answer from Disney yet. They won't be filming till at least late next year, as Billy is filming Wednesday season 3 from April. So that's 2026 pretty much ruled out now. And this is one of the things that stands out in my mind. It takes upwards of 18 months, certainly if you're starting from scratch, for something to be constructed and then broadcast. So if they're waiting X number of months, in my mind, I get the feeling that Disney is going to hold its ammo until the last episode's aired sometime next year. But at the same time, there's the contract with RTD maybe and Bad Wolf, and the BBC will have to wait until that lapses, and then they'll start making noise, which could be 2028 or even 2029. And am I mistaken, Steve?
It definitely sounds like it wasn't done with a future in mind. It was not done to set it forward. Let's set it on the next path. It was just, I'm going, so I'm just going to throw this grenade and piss off. We can swear now because teacher's gone. Teacher's not here. But it was done in poor faith, I believe.
Yeah, definitely poor.
That's putting it really nicely.
Funny. It's funny to me that they were contracted for 26 episodes, and 5 of them are on a spin-off. They could have literally used those 5 episodes to either do more with shooting, for those 2 series, or they could have had a small run of Billy Piper, maybe David Tennant. They mix back together and they fix what with the bi-generation and everything, and then they send it back. They send it off to the 16th real Doctor on their own, single TARDIS, and then just set it forward. But he just went, nah, I'm just gonna get my friend and shove her in.
Absolutely. Well, it's a cheap gimmick. It's not something that's designed to last. If there's not an immediate payoff, it does more damage than good. What do you think, Sean? What's your take on this?
Yeah, no, you both summed it up really well. I mean, it's just, and like Steve said, and I know this isn't really a topic, but Brendan, no, it's like it's not. Why did they do that?
Quick phones away.
That's it. Brendan is back. Chaos ensues now.
Oh, this is nice. Just remember, I'm your granddad. Yeah, Susan. Wait, what's going on here? Put your hand off that. What's it? Love all your work on Doctor Who, RTD. I've always got my hanky out. How many more seasons of Doctor Who have you written? You never know, I may have written as many as 5. Feels different this time. Oh, regenerating! You unearthly child.
Of course. Thank you, Garbage. Thank you, Garbage Who, for the little AIs. There's more coming. I'm going to work on the War Machine soon. Hopefully my mic is working. So here we go. We continue. Chris Walker Thompson. I would rather it didn't come back. At least with Bad Wolf. If it needs to go on ice for a decade, fine. But I'd rather new people had a go at it rather than it be gate kept. And I think that's the, Phil Newman here. The thing is, there's little to be anxious about, really. When the show went off the air in 1989, we were told nothing. The BBC had no desire to continue with it. The circumstances couldn't be more different. Disney haven't walked away. The impatience seems based in self-entitlement. Now, there is an element of that, Steve. I know fans can get... I mean, we talk about missing episodes. Some fans have been rude with Film is Fabulous. Some fans have been, arsey with Philip Morris. We know there's that type of minority fan out there. And so, yes, there is some impatience that they have to hear something. When legally, Steve, Disney don't have to say a word because the contract still exists for another year or 2.
I feel like there's a lot of bad feelings with not just Doctor Who, but when it comes to Disney, a lot of the... what they've done to a lot of franchises, and they don't seem to care. It's like the old fans are just in the way. We want new audiences, the legacy fans, we get them out of the way. So when there's nothing being said, I can see they should understand why. They don't have to like it, they don't even have to put up with it, but they should at least understand and acknowledge, we understand why you feel the way you feel. But this is just what, or give information like, we'll have a timeline. You'll know on this date or by the end of this month. So it seems like a little bit rude of them to feel like that, we could say.
And it seems rude if Joe Chapman, one of my panelists and our lovely friend, came and went, and I didn't say hi. Hi, Joe, if you're still there, and hi, Gabriel too. We're trying to work out a really good cliffhanger special with Gabriel, my youngest guest so far, and to get to, I work on all the demographics. I don't just go for the oldies. So, Jess, future Doctor Who has to go through major changes. Where Disney are concerned, the format will change. Previous management cast out, no showrunner. Let's get moving. Cosmic Toyman, good to see you again. I'll just text us. New audiences don't spend money, and they have started to become aware to that now. They have started making changes. Right. So and here's Brian, and we had, I'm sure it was him on earlier. He's got Toonami. The BBC doesn't need an answer from Disney. Kate Phillips, who is her fantastic commissioning editor, a new series through BBC Studios if she wants to, and she's totally justified in pulling it off the air for a couple of years. Who is a big brand, but due to ratings, it's wasted money, sadly. And that's why I think partly the spin-off has had to be stopped for a while, because we need clean air. Now, I just want to remind Christian that Jane Tranter might have said what she said so recently, but you only have to go back a year or two. And I just want to remind you how the picture was very different. Oh, it's a whole new adventure, she said only a year ago. We're really pleased with the show that we've made, and that there is a whole new audience out there, under a stone, being driven to the show. It sounds as though you're a captive audience who haven't Doctor Who in the past has been, they weren't born, has been exactly what RTD set out to do. So that's really good. So, Christian, what a difference a year makes.
Oh, what a difference a year makes. She specified it. The audience being driven, they wanted to forcibly box the audience in to compel them to watch and approve this version of the show. And it obviously didn't take. And I just find people that are in the business of self-promotion, and they have to in entertainment, the way they have to spin narratives to try and sell failure as some kind of secret success is very amusing. Although it's kind of demoralizing when you're waiting for meaningful information because you're devoted to an IP.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, you with your your podcast, you go wider. Of course, you do with cinema and stuff, and you're aware of the franchises more than me in many cases. And just as I bring in Forgotten Melody, I'll ask you the question about what she's saying here. I mean, in a year they have tanked the show. In a year they thought they had it. In a year they thought they were made. But Sean, in a year they've done the complete opposite.
Well, I mean, I think Steve mentioned it a while back that they ordered 2 series, so they made 2 series. They gave it no time to breathe. I know with Eccleston leaving, you had a big change between, series 1 and series 2. But, 2005 and 6, you had a big change there. So they had to kind of change and look at it a bit differently. But you just look, why? Again, it's this whole, I know it's a cliche, but it's a whole it's you type mentality that they've got about them. But it just comes across as very arrogant to think, we've got this made. And I've said it, Steve mentioned it, we've probably all watched the behind the scenes stuff. 5, they were terrified they were going to get it wrong. All their interviews with Tranter and RTD back then we were terrified we were going to mess it up. We really were worried. We thought about this and we worried about this, and they just didn't seem to have that this time. It's they seem to think, we've got to know what everybody wants. And talking about driving a whole new audience to the show, no, at the point you needed to save as many fans that you had because the show was hemorrhaging like a bad patient. You needed to stop, stem the bleeding, and make the show look, get people back, get people interested, because a lot of people, myself included, I'm sure a lot of people in the chat, thought RTD's coming back, I'll give this another look. Because Brendan, I was totally out. If it wasn't for the Sense Sphere, I wouldn't have watched, I did the Flux to my own channel years ago, and that was bad enough. But that is quality compared to the last couple of years. Know how mad that sounds. It's amazing how bottom of the barrel really is. But it's just it's awful, and the arrogance. Where's the humility? I don't know. Anyway, sorry, go on.
No, I mean, I was gonna bring in Steve, obviously. I mean, Steve, yeah, is it hubris? Is it arrogance? Was it just complacency? Were the cats that got the cream and they thought all we have to do now is just drive, if I use the analogy of Christian, just sail this boat into the sunset and we make hay. But it didn't work, did it? Because they assumed the audience were going come what may.
Yeah, they talk about these new or modern audiences, but they don't need to gear the show towards new people, because how do you think the show got so popular in the past? They didn't change it every couple of years or every 10 years. Well, they changed it to a point, but it wasn't, let's gear it towards these people. Let's gear it towards them. I mean, in the original run, the only time I seem to remember there was a bit of a shift was the John Pertwee era, because they wanted to compete with shows like Earthbound, shows like The Avengers. So they did correct, but they didn't. They sort of like changed the setting. We're keeping them on Earth, but they didn't fundamentally change what everything was just to get new audiences. It's just families, the kids were then the adults showing it to their kids, who would then show it, grandkids, and everyone would watch. They didn't need to keep changing it. I don't know where this idea is that you need to gear it towards. People will find the show regardless.
And remember, when it was talking about shifts and all the rest of it, an educated 12-year-old is what they said in the 70s for Doctor Who. Now, an educated 12-year-old is up there. And as you saw, Philip Hinchcliffe, all that for an educated 12-year-old. Genesis for the Daleks for an educated 12-year-old. What we seem to have now is they either are so patronizing that they think the British public and then the global public are thick as, because they are treating us like we've got two amoebas in our head and they're trying to knit together to make another cell. I mean, Sean, honestly, I feel insulted if they think what they've delivered is for even an educated 12-year-old. Having taught, I used to be a teacher. 12-year-olds, educated 12-year-olds, and I keep it quiet because I don't want people finding me. No, but honestly, an educated 12-year-old wants entertaining, and they really won't put up with crap.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right, and it goes back to that. There's this amazing happen about 10 years before 10 years ago. Go back 10 years, and every bit of media made, there was this amazing thing you could do, and stick with me, creators, because it's a difficult one to get in. Extrapolate and see yourself in a certain situation. Shockingly, none of us, as far as I know, 900 or 1,000-year-old Time Lords from a different planet who have a little box that can get us through time and space. You have a good show, regardless of who heads it up, regardless of if it's a woman, man, whatever the situation is, whether they're flipping French, you can watch a good show and you can empathize with these people. It's an amazing humans is empathize and say, I can see myself, what would I do in that situation? And you care about character that you watch. They might be completely different to you. They might be from the other side of the world. They might see different people in it than you do. They might have a different culture, and you extrapolate and you look at it. You love a show like that. You read a book and you really get engrossed in it. And this is used to do. And people who used to create these medias, I'm nearly finished, I promise. I'm getting into a used to understand that, and they used to treat the audience with a modicum of respect. The issue we've got now is we've got a lot of people in there who, number one, won't take criticism. Two, if anybody in the says anything, they're out the door. You'd be very, very stupid to say no to me. Really? That's I mean, go read, because the people who say stuff like that aren't generally the ones you want to stand behind. It's just mad, and like, look at all the fans you get at these conventions. They're from every walk of life, every different job. Every man, woman, everything. They're all different people, and it used to bring people together. Sorry, I'm done. Sorry, go on, mate.
I'm going to get a school bell. I forgot what I was going to say now. It doesn't matter. Network number 5384, very precise. I reckon they'll do a special where the Piper and Tennant doctors merge in some kind of merged generation, which he'll think is a genius, and by generation. Actually, what I was going to say, Steve, before I move on, because Rob Shearman is waiting, was as Sean was saying then, look, they've dumbed down the program because I actually think some of the writers aren't readers. And some of these writers are all into this kind of celebrity culture, pap culture trend. They're not into concepts. They're not into visions. They're not into intelligence. They're trying to play to the lowest common denominator, a bit like you watch a soap opera and one day somebody says, Bobby, I'm ill. Bobby, I'm pregnant. And he goes, really? And then, that's all you write. You write human stories about, I'm having a baby. I've lost my baby. Where is my baby? The baby's been kidnapped. That's all you get all the bloody time. You don't need to be a genius. But Doctor Who and sci-fi is different, Steve.
Yeah, it's like, I like Bridgerton, so let's just make a Bridgerton episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
What?
Thank you.
Just, it's, I don't know, I like this show, so I'm going to just write what I know, but stick the Doctor in it. It isn't people who want to write Doctor Who. They want to write TV, or they want the Doctor Who. Oh, Doctor Who's good. What I'll do is I'll do Doctor Who and then I'll get noticed. Because I think that's sort of what RTD was doing, because he kind of, I think, wants to work for Disney. So to have that Doctor Who Disney link, I think that was sort of like his backdoor pilot way of going, hire me, please. But
I wonder how that's going, because all I heard from the source is that Disney were not getting through to RTD, so it wasn't a very good job interviewing.
Well, he ended up on Channel 4, so
Yeah,
I guess it didn't go as well as he expected.
And it's funny because everything RTD writes tells me his psychology. It really does. It's like taking over Doctor Who, like he's the toy maker. He has the toy maker in it. Blah blah blah. I could go on. And he leaves BBC to do a show called Tiptoe. It's as if he's slightly humble and, you know, ego's being bruised a little bit. The Forgotten Melody. Showrunners should be focused on changing elements to better the entertainment content. But the failing elements were the ones they refused to withdraw because of their agenda, which took precedence. Yes, story first. It is dead simple. I'll move us on because I know people are dying for us to talking about Doctor Who dead and how rude. There's a picture of intellectual Doctor Who that they're offering us. And just to remind you, because you know I'm the gift that keeps giving, if you're going to quote me, you can imagine being in my classroom. My God, I'll quote back. So basically, Jane Tranter has told us about Doctor Who and just wait and all the rest of it. She said, working with Russell again is like coming home. His vision keeps pushing boundaries, making sure Doctor Who evolves without losing its heart. And as I say, how's that going? It's lost its heart, it's lost its slot, it's lost its budget, it's lost its streaming partner. Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy Russell came home. Right. And of course, she mentioned Shooty. This is December 2023. It's not that long ago, you know, really. Shooty brings such joy and fire. He's redefining what the Doctor can be, and it's fabulous to watch the world fall in love with him. Christian, discuss.
Who fell in love with Gatwa? I'm looking around for them. I don't see them yet. I mean, I'm figuring that she was smoking something really special when she made that observation, because talk about projection. She probably got the projected affection from RTD over this brand new discovery, and she decided she was going to push that on and sell that enthusiasm as though it were legitimate for the public at large. There's no one I can think of in fandom that fell in love with Gatwa, although I'm sure someone was infatuated with Gatwa before he was cast.
Yeah, I'm wondering who that is. So, I mean, Steve and Sean, you know all these, and I'll move us on to Rob Sheeman, don't we? And you can because I think these are all tried and tested discussion points, aren't they? Yeah, that looks like the Doctor to me too. Yeah, and there's our co-founders of Bad Wolf looking. They look as though they've made even more money now. Look at that. Yeah. So looking very happy with themselves. So on to the headlines. Where do we go next? Well, here we go, Sean. This is the next one. She actually said, and I really zoomed in on this. She said, we write stories that reflect the world in which we live. Sean, I don't know what world you live in. I know you're down the road from me, but I don't recognize.
If I wanted that show, if people who watch Doctor Who wanted a show about the world we're living in, we wouldn't be bloody watching Doctor Who. We'd be watching something. We'd be watching a documentary about where we lived, and it'd be do you know what world are you living in? Like what? Like I don't understand this obsession that thankfully I think we're moving away from, where everything has to reflect. Yes, okay, go and write. You want to write a show about that people with disabilities face or people with autism face, both of which lie very close to my heart, right? Go and do it. Change, make a really good program like that. Mr. Bates versus the Post Office. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone. Go and make something if you want to. That's what TV can do. Daniel Blake, what that film did, that had a really big impact. It can be done. It really can be done. But I can't be doing with I can't think of the right word. It's just placating, isn't it? It's just it's the appearance of doing good things instead of just being quiet and just getting on with it. It does my head in. I really struggle to see this that they're talking about, because I don't know about you, Brendan, but when you were teaching people, when I work with people, who they are doesn't matter to me. I'm trying to help them, like it's irrelevant. Anyway, sorry, mate. Go on.
No. I was just trying to bring in, just keep Cosmic Toy Man. Was she wearing a rug? And I put it back up because I suppose she could be Yeti. We need the Yeti back.
I was thinking, are they cosplaying as Trini and Susanna from Channel 4's fashion programs?
Oh, as Rob Fellow says, absolutely fabulous. So they're doing a new episode. So yeah, I mean, it's there. There she is again. I mean, she gets changed all the time. She changes as much as the shooty Doctor. But
no profile.
So yeah, this was the quote, Christian. All we can do is tell stories that reflect the world in which we live. Not just some of us, but all of us. In all honesty, and then she goes on about that Disney Plus hasn't said anything that it doesn't measure up, that they've got a problem with how Doctor Who's written. That is not what I've been told at all. We've all seen the Disney feedback. We've all seen the leaks. We all know it makes an awful lot of sense. And I'm sorry, but why are Disney so quiet, Christian, if they are happy? They would have said, let's get series 3, let's get series 4, let's get that spin-off out now.
They would have been pushing. If this was a success, they would have already been on board, and there wouldn't have been any need to spin a narrative. So when Tranter makes the observation that Disney had no sense that it didn't measure up to their expectations, that's dishonesty on her part, unless she was absolutely not in on any of the phone calls and will use that as plausible deniability in her mind, because she's got to rationalize to herself to a certain degree that Disney is still okay with this. But in all candor, we've seen basically all the information coming out. Disney reached out, they didn't like what they saw, and they were pretty much off of the enthusiasm gig really after the first episode dropped, because they realized that this was a done deal and it wasn't something that was going to be marketable.
And remember, this nonsense about reflecting the world, this is a trend that's kind of blown into all these media organizations. Doctor Who, when it made, let's say, when it made Earthshock wasn't trying to reflect society. It was trying to tell a bloody good story about the Cybermen coming back, and it was good. When Doctor Who did, let's have a look, let's go for City of Death, was it trying to reflect the issues of the time? No, it wasn't. It was trying to tell a bloody good story. And this is the issue, Steve. This twaddle that they have to reflect everybody. Everybody has to get their minute. So in the end, Steve, we had somebody in a wheelchair who actually, you know, was bazookaing in the toilets and, you know, freaking out and being a bit arsey, I think, a few times. And tasering that lad, Conrad. You had a ramp in the TARDIS that was never used. You had a trans girl checking on shoplifting in Catford for UNIT. That's what you got, instead of reflecting what Doctor Who was and telling good stories.
Well, I think it's Disbrew who says it. They're not able to abstract. They write what they know. They can't write other things other than what they like it says, like reflect the world. That's not what we want. If I want to see the world, I'll just go look out my window and just see what's happening. I want escapism. I don't want to be inundated with topical, you know, current affairs. I'll watch the news. It's escapism, but they can't do that. They can only write. It would be like me writing about retail, like a show about retail, because I've worked in retail for all of my adult life. Like, I don't know, I can't write a story about another job or something because I don't know that experience. So they're not able to, or they're not willing. Maybe they could if they wanted, but they don't want to. They just want to write. And when it says that I've had no sense from this, she could have just stopped at that. I had no sense.
Yeah, there's.
I would go jump here and say, Steve, that I think a part of the appetite they have to write, quote, the world that they live in, is it gives them an excuse to avoid topics or narratives or concepts that would be counter to the agenda that they're pushing. If they give themselves the escape hatch to only focus on social and political agendas as they see them, they give themselves the freedom to ignore really the world at large. So that's the grand irony here. They claim that this is going to be something that will reach everyone, that everyone's going to embrace what they have done. But in reality, they deliberately focus on such a narrow channel of people that might be receptive to what they're writing. And in point of fact, they can't write quality because they've got to put the agenda first, which means the story doesn't come first anyway.
Well, here's Marie UK. Thank you for our first. We call them shonky chats, don't we? Thank you very much. When sci-fi reflects the present, it dates it. So right. So right. Yeah. We don't want that. I don't think City of Death ages. I mean, I could list more in my head. Genesis of the Daleks doesn't date. Obviously, it's on another planet. Seeds of Doom doesn't date. This is the problem. But when you have all these references to TV programs and Big Brother, and you start to talk about, I mean, will they be discussing some of these issues in a few years' time? That was what worries me. But as you know, Marie, I always thank people for doing a shonky chat. So, should we feel more who? Should we feel more kind of, yeah?
You said we were alone here. Trapped like this, like a sponge beneath the sea. I, Morbius, who once led the High Council of the Time Lords, now reduced to this. Who are you? Where have you come from? You one of the sisterhood?
I thought it was absolutely vital to do this. I'm so proud of the fact that I deserve an award. And I have problems with her. And lots of us on the production team that I hired only last week had problems with her.
Yes, Jack, who's a good friend of Lee, does all those RTDs. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Need to do more. So yes, the great writer, this great writing, Sean, that brought back the Toy Maker, that brought back Sutek, that brought back, we had a deaf character in The Well, we had the Rani back, we had Omega back. Do you know what? An absolute extravagance of riches. Why are we mourning, Sean? Because it was all laid on for us.
Well, that's like getting a menu at a restaurant, warning everybody, and then it looks really good, and then you taste it, and it tastes like I drop in the bath. It's not. It is not. Sorry, it's not good. It wasn't good. It just isn't good. And I'm sorry, but I can't treat this stuff. I can't treat the last couple of series any more seriously than they took it. They can't have been taking it seriously. I used to believe it deep down inside my heart of hearts. They truly believe that they've made like the best that they could make. They know deep down this isn't bloody good. Surely, because lie to me, lie to yourself.
I think, Sean, you need to get out the bath. It's really starting to stick now. The Forgotten Melody. They took out the personality and spirit of the show and replaced it with bad, weak, inclusive, emotional relationship drama. And I call that Forgotten Melody soap opera. That's in essence, they changed the genre of the show. They changed sci-fi to soap opera and wondered where the audience went. Robert Payne, a modern writer, couldn't imagine the arc in space Homo sapiens speech. I think that's my point, because RTD, even Stephen Moffat to a degree, Chris Chibnall, Pete McTighe, they're all consumed with this popular culture nonsense, and it comes and it goes. But if you focused on a brilliant, interesting, pioneering story, concept, and character, which is what Doctor Who is and was, it's so easy. It's so easy. I mean, you look at all those characters, there's no need for them to come back, any of them. Why didn't they come up with something brand new? And I don't mean Maestro. I don't mean that. So, yeah. Now, about storylines, remember this. RTD said, they've dismissed the criticism from the minority. We're the minority, everybody. Davies telling BBC Radio 2's 20 Secrets from 20 Years, someone always brings up matters of diversity, and their online warriors accusing us of diversity and wokeness and involving messages and issues. And I have no time for this. I don't have a second to bear it, because what you might call diversity, I just call an open door. My God, he's got a draft. I mean, Steve, so yeah, I'm heating it up now.
Well,
diversity's fine. Let's get that out there first. It's not the problem. The problem is when you make that the cornerstone of your show. We have diversity. Look at the diversity. There's a story somewhere, but we haven't got to it yet. Diversity. Look at all the people we've got. Look at the TARDIS that's so diverse now. Story, yeah, don't worry about that. We've got it. The old stuff, we don't want the old stuff, but we are going to bring the old stuff back. But diversity is also there, so that's all we need. Story, yeah, we're getting to it. Don't worry. And they just don't have a story, or they have the thin line of a story. But it's look at these people we've added. Look at these. Why are you talking about diversity? We just do that. It's fine. Diversity is not a problem. Stop bringing it up. We just do it. And it just seems like they've made it the issue by pointing out, look what we've got. And then when you say there's a bit of diversity, they're like, why are you bringing it up? That's rude. That's not allowed. You're not allowed to do that. And it's like they've made that the issue, but then when other people talk about it, they're just keyboard warriors, or we don't care what they think.
We're all Conrad Clark's, Christian. And the other thing is, remember in the Chris Chibnall period that he was supposed to be resurrecting us from, we had a pregnant man. We had, I mean, I could go on. I'll try not at this time of night to really upset people. But Christian, we had it and it didn't work. And that was diversity too. Or should I say a kind of, we would say it's a woke messaging now, because it was just nonsense. A man can have a baby, or here we go.
Well, I think the issue is, Brendan, although we saw samplings of the agenda being pushed the last year of Capaldi's run and through the Chibnall era, RTD in his mind said, hey, they just did it wrong. I'm here. I can make this work. So there's that hubris, the assumption that something someone else failed at, you're going to be able to do better. And certainly he put diversity ahead of narrative ahead of the story. As Steve was pointing out, we'll get to it. We'll get to the story. But first, focus on the character in the wheelchair. We'll get to a story, but first let's focus on the young character who's transgender. We'll get to the story, and the problem is every time you plug in one of those diversity banners, it doesn't forward the story. Instead, it actually stops it because you have to stop. You have to have a moment of processing. You have to have some dialogue about it that's not really relevant to resolving the plot at hand. And so all of a sudden, 90% of the time that we're watching on the screen is actually not related to the plot. The plots are paper thin.
Oh yeah,
and there's no narrative there to play with. There may have been the kernel of an idea, but it was all washed away on the waves of woke.
Oh yeah,
to support diversity.
Well, Joe's Smithy, why didn't Disney and the BBC corporate executives watch the episodes before airing? They should have monitored RTD's new interpretation for Doctor Who, and that would have told RTD to reshoot scenes. Josie, if you've seen some of my streams with what the source said, number one, the BBC aren't interested in Doctor Who per se, apart from the money. They're not interested in sci-fi. They think we're all low value. They don't value sci-fi. They're all Oxford and Cambridge. They all see this as there's other, diversity and all the other things are more high value. And nobody really wants to be on Doctor Who because it's low value, because it's somebody else's show. So add all that together and nobody gives a toss. It's basically the context of the BBC. But they know it's a great brand because it makes them money. They don't understand us fans, we're toxic. They don't understand the programme, it's puerile. But it makes money, so we'll have it on TV when we can. Steve?
I was just going to say, the way Disney do the Marvel films, where they just have a basic idea or story and they reshoot. So when I saw it was Disney's involvement, I expected a lot of reshoots, but they'd already we've spent all the money now, so we've got we can't really do anything with it. Can you give us some more money so we can make? So it does make me think that Disney were very hands off. They just aired it, because there was a lot of it's Disney Doctor Who now, and someone producer, I can't remember who else, said no, Disney have been hands off, and nobody believed it. But I think maybe they must have been quite hands off, and it was just, here's the show, stick it on Disney Plus for the rest of the world.
Sean? Very long gap. Hello, Sean. Earth to Sean.
I was sneezing. I was sneezing. Sorry. I was in. Sorry.
No, you weren't. No, that's a lie. You were still in your bath having a crap.
Honestly, you'd think I was lying in a bathtub of twigs. It looks that bad. No, I'm. Going back to that last slide with what RT said. If it's so damn important, if what you're writing is so important for this group of people, I don't for one moment believe this is where this. If you want, go do it in politics, do it properly. But let's not get into that. But if this is so damn important to the way you see the world, didn't you give them the people in your cast the best damn writing you could? The kind of writing that you're pulling blood from your body, really bloody hard work. Why didn't you give them the absolute best that you could instead of this auto? And it's just platitudes. It's platitudes instead of doing the hard work. Did you go and RTD, if you've been to Westminster to try and work with actual lawmakers and look at all these things that you really, really soar behind, or is it just platitudes to sell your latest? I might be being really pessimistic, but I'm just asking the questions.
I just think look, when I started the Sense Sphere, I picked the title thinking we'll be common sense, put up with no nonsense, talk sense, be balanced. I wish I could still feel balanced, but I think I'll put my hand up now and say my journey with RTD2 has gone one way. I have been utterly disappointed, appalled. And I think I'm allowed to be a critical friend of Doctor Who and say, sorry, out of order, yellow card. Oh no, you've done it again. Red card, sent off. Move on. Move on. You're now suspended. Game over. I'm sorry, but I have been utterly disappointed with the trite rubbish that has been served up for in the name of my programme. We've got here, my problem with RTD2 had nothing to do with any perceived gay, trans, diversity agenda, and all had to do with RTD's terrible scripts and hugely unsatisfying resolutions. Tell us a good story is the only rule there should be about. Thanks for that. Now, I just want to remind everybody, Nightmare Time. Remember when Dead Ringers just said it's just died of cringe? You see, it's an open secret out there. Remember when the BBC discussed that even some of the lefties said, look how woke it's got? Remember that? A bunch, literally Doctor Who now is a bunch of memes telling us that white straight men are the source of all evil in the universe. If Doctor Who is dying, it's because the BBC's killed it. This was discussed by 2 BBC presenters. So it's not just us, but Dead Ringers, I think we need to remind you, their script, which was a gift, it's just died of cringe after the reality war. He regenerated into Billy Piper for clicks. It's a woke, touchy-feely doctor I am now. The power of unearned sentimentality in the script. Hallmark hardness of your empty platitudes. Lazily written mawkishness. I mean, honestly, it goes on. I mean, lads, we should all take a... Here we go. This is what I mean. Here, I'll just clear the decks here. Let's bring this alive. Because I tell you what, this is what Doctor Who's become now. An absolute comedy. So, it's my game. Can I be the doctor? No, I'm only joking. Christian, can you be the doctor?
Okay. Hey, Commander Stewart, what's going down, babes?
And I'm Omega. I'd love to be Omega because he was pretty anorexic. He'd lost weight. Raw. And then Steve, can you be Stuart?
Doctor, thank God you're here. There's a CGI monster. And sorry, I've not read this in a while.
Yeah.
I just remember. There's a CGI monster from another dimension destroying the whole of London. Again.
Plenty of time for that. Give me a hug.
A hug?
Sure, I've got to hug everybody in this room because that's the kind of woke, touchy-feely doctor I am now. Can't leave any minority behind. Okay, wheelchair-bound lady, give me a hug. Ethnic man, here comes a hug. Trans person, it's hugging time. Gay robot, you is in for one heck of a hug. Show me the loving.
And it goes on. Oh, I'll get a partner. Sean, I need to bring you in somehow, but I'll try. I have you now, Doctor.
I warned you. The CGI monster's broken in.
And here's what you have to do to beat it, Kate Babes. Simply tell me that I'm wonderful and how I'm the most amazing person in the universe.
Doctor, do you think lazily written mawkishness is really going to scare me?
Let's see Monster Babes. Kate?
You lift everyone up by your example. I can't even commit to it anymore. I'm not gonna.
Steve, that sounds like us saying we can't commit to Doctor Who.
Sorry, I said the quiet part out loud. I apologise. That's the production notes. Just carry on. Don't give any effort.
Brendan, can I play the audience?
Yeah, go on.
I'd like to come in and play the audience. There's the audience.
To be honest, I thought you were just going to leave if you're playing the audience.
Yeah, no, drown himself in the bath.
No, the delay's too long.
So, anyway, you're spoiling my part. You know, when you're a kid in the classroom. Oh, right. Oh, no, stop. I can't take the hallmark hardness of your empty platitudes.
It's working. The power of unearned sentimentality in the script is to poison it. Is poison to it more.
Oh, well, why? You may not have a family, Doctor, but we humans are all your children.
Oh, no, please don't say it. Oh, no, please don't say it again, Stuart.
Because, Doctor, it's not the family you're born with that matters. It's the one you... Did they get that off like a Facebook post? I'm sure you can get that as a poster, can't you? Or on one of those metal posters. It's the one you find along the way.
Raw. Do it.
God, it worked. It just died of cringe. At least I get the good line.
Yeah,
you got the good line. I'm off to regenerate into Billy Piper for clicks.
So there you go. That's now what this program has become. It's now a comedy skit. And actually, I suppose the lines were better written than they were by RTD. I mean, you know, the jury's not out, is it, Christian, there?
No. It's still, how shall I say, open to new developments. But what developments will they be?
And as I said, you know, when the press phoned me up straight after the reality war, I said, I am shocked, irritated, frustrated. People are contacting me now in absolute shock and horror. That was the Hoopettes. It's lazy writing, a hodgepodge of exposition, escapism, nonsense. RTD was throwing every toy from the Doctor Who box at the telly, hoping something would stick. And, you know, I really let rip, because you know me when I'm in that sort of mood. I mean business.
You think the Cybermen will help you?
I shall be the resurrector. Look!
The leader, the controller, Jamie.
We need your power.
You belong to us. Release the Cybermen, son. Activate them.
See, there's real Doctor Who out there if you look for it. So, just as a reminder, while we get to our good old Rob Sheeman, we've got Gareth Roberts, of all people. Doctor Who's woke, boring, rubbish storylines have caused staggering number of fans to turn off. I mean, everybody's saying it. And he's a Doctor Who writer, just like Rob Sheeman. I did how many shows, and I'm not the only one. Has Doctor Who been captured by the agenda? It became too blooming obvious. Look at the TARDIS. I mean, was it Gay Pride Month? Look at that. You know, I mean, look at the colours. You know, and Peter Davison said it. He said, look, Doctor Who was always liberal and progressive. It always had a go at things like corporations or the arms race, but it never announced what it was doing. And I think the mistake that's been made recently is it's become a bit too, it's sort of saying this is what we're doing, and that changes the optics of it. Sean, Peter Davison slags it off. Gareth Roberts slags it off. Rob Sheeman slags it off.
There?
Sorry?
He's saying, essentially what he's saying there, between the lines, is they forgot to make a TV show. Like, they were doing all this stuff. They forgot to make a TV show. Like, they've got to make a story whilst they were deciding all this. It's like, you need to get the bare bones there first before you do anything else. And that's why everyone turns it on, watches it, and thinks, all right, what's this all about? And then just there's no substance to it. No substance.
I mean, Christian, Peter Davison, I think he could almost be like the custodian of Doctor Who now, because he gets it. Yes, there were always interesting stories that kind of reflected an issue. Not every time, but they didn't ram it down your throat going, by the way, folks. I mean, Christian, I'm going to remind you now of that Chris Chibnall one when it was like at the end and it talked about, you know, we have to look after each other. And that one where you saw Obama, was it Obama giving the medal to Rosa Parks, and you thought, oh, God, what's this lecture?
Yeah. Well, I think Davison would be a wonderful custodian for the property because he does get it. Although Doctor Who and most science fiction tends to be liberal and somewhat progressive in spirit, it never interfered with the capacity to tell a good story. If there was something that had a taste of a progressive element in it, it was critical to the plot. It was deftly handled. It was very subtle. But I get the feeling that RTD was all about coming in with a sledgehammer and a wrecking ball and smashing as many things as he possibly could and making it obvious while he was doing it. Hey, by the way, I'm now going to smash this for this reason. And while I'm smashing it, I want you to feel this. And he was that pointed. That's not quality writing. That's didactic.
Well, just to be right on it now, you can see, I mean, process of elimination. We've done Doctor Who's Not Dead, we've done No Time for Online Warriors, and we've done the 10-year celebrations of Bad Wolf. So go guess what's left, everybody. Rob Sheeman is rude, says Jane Tranter. So here we go, pregnant pause, and then we're going to go flying into it.
Hello?
Okay, so pregnant pause. Wasn't enough time for another dump in the bath, was it, that, Sean?
Sean's never going to live that down.
It's been the theme of the show. Jane Tranter. Sorry.
Never miss an opportunity to drop one in the bath.
Jane Tranter reacted to Rob Sheeman's recent Doctor Who comments as really rude, actually, really untrue. Has everyone seen the radio footage of it? She was on, I think, Radio 2, and she hasn't actually seen what Rob Sheeman said, like we all have. She was the part of the statement was read out, and she went, "That's really rude." Doctor Who will be back, as I said, if and not when, and all the rest of it. So it started to kind of do the rounds. Doctor Who producer Jane Tranter hits back at rude writer who said sci-fi series is as dead as we've ever known it. But when I hear this is what's coming up in the future, it is dead. I mean, I am not looking forward to CBB's Doctor Who, and thanks to Thinking for this, by the way. But I mean, Steve, 26 episodes of CBB's Doctor Who is coming. It's not dead.
Yay. No, right, to go back to what she said, I would love it for someone to be in an interview situation like that and just go, could you please read me the entire interview so I can get the whole context of what they said, instead of just these little sound bites. But what I think Robert, he would probably have been saying that from like our point of view, because I assume he's not got any sort of like involvement in the show. He's not written for many years, so he's as a fan as we are seeing this from the outside of there's nothing being said. Oh, we've got a spin-off coming next year. Now we'll drag it out a bit more. There's nothing there. So he's probably from the perspective of a fan, seeing what we're seeing, and he's commenting on what we're the sort of information. If they don't want us to be, or people to be rude about it, tell us what's going on.
So I'm going to play fair here. So between each panelist, I'll bring in a bit of the thread, because I know a lot of you have been waiting for this, because I have actually been building it up. Jim Reeve. So let me get this right. When Rob Sheeman makes a reasoned criticism, and I'll show you it in a moment just to remind people, but I thought it was a reasonable, logical observation. He's being rude, is he? When RTD tells the fans to F off and touch grass, that's fine, is it? Give me strength. Mark Raymond, yeah, he's talking about deflation. I love the way our threads go in so many different directions. It's class. David Harding, hello. With regards to Rob Sheeman's comments, maybe Doctor Who is dead, where the fans are concerned, which kind of amounts to the same thing as it's just being dead. And I saw, obviously, Farsight, because he was looking forward to this item as well. Since when was having an opinion being rude? And what did I say earlier, Christian, about our society if you reflect in them, it seems to be this educated 12-year-old is now like some educated in their 20s, the way in comparison, because they're dumbing down. And now you're not allowed to actually ask questions of those in authority. Oh my God. Don't they get the irony that sci-fi is all about that?
Well, it is about asking questions, and I find it ironic that they call Shearman on the carpet as being rude for telling the truth. Because in reality, did he say something that was inaccurate? And the answer, of course, is no. He said something that could not be readily spun. And that's what they're upset about. You're supposed to speak in euphemisms with as many indirections as possible in order to sell the narrative that everything is fine. How dare you shatter the illusion that everything is perfect, even if everyone in the audience already knows that the program is not even on life support, but is technically deceased.
Yeah. This is what he said, Steve, to remind everybody, and we were Doctor Who fans, we'd probably know. After 1989, we had for years a current Doctor. Now everything that is ever going to be produced in Doctor Who terms is going to feel retrogressive. At least with the new adventures and then the BBC books, you thought it's the current Doctor, McCoy or McGann. No one's going to start writing Doctor Who books with a Billy Piper Doctor, because no one knows what that means. In a funny sort of way, the closing moments of the reality war seem to have put a full stop on things. We didn't have that before, therefore Doctor Who is dead. That's on another page. I mean, Steve, you asked for context. I know you know the context.
Yeah.
Tranter doesn't, but I don't have a problem with what he said.
It's only rude because it's not the same opinion as what she has. That's why, you're not allowed to have a different opinion. You're wrong because you don't agree with me. Simple as that,
Yeah.
Maybe they know what's going on in the background. Maybe they thought they'd done a better job of hiding what's coming around the corner in terms of where the show's headed. And it's like when people point out it seems dead, they're like, oh, do you know, do they? The secret side is the worst kept secret in the show's history, that it's just there's nothing. They've got nothing. Even like RCD leaving the Doctor Who magazine, everything just seems to be halted or paused for undetermined amount of years.
It's fascinating, isn't it, Christian, that you've got Rob Sheeman hasn't been on the show since 2005. Gareth Roberts hasn't been on the show a bit longer. He did Unicorn and the Wasp and that, but he hasn't been on for a long while. They've all been pushed aside for all these new great writers like Juno Dawson. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? They're all saying the same thing, aren't they, Christian?
Well, they are. The veteran quality writers are aware of what we're discussing here, that because of how this is played out, the show is basically dead. One of the cardinal rules in entertainment, if it's a going concern, is you never have downtime. You can't afford it. Whether something is going through repeat releases or there are other promotions going on, it's always in the move until the next fresh product is being aired. But nothing is happening. And so all of these quality personnel have been pushed away. They've seen what's happened. They know that nothing's in the works. They know nothing's going to be in the works for some time. And now they can make an honest observation and a fair assessment, I think, that the show is dead. Doesn't mean it can't come back in 5 years, 10 years, 50 years. It's an IP. It's popular. It's got legs. It will come back in some form at some future date. But it doesn't mean that it's guaranteed to continue as it currently exists under these conditions. It can't. It's dead.
I mean, Sean, I'm not going to go into all the words that are down there from Robert Payne, but I get what he's saying, that there seems to be a culture from our powers that be in lots of things in the media I'll stick to, that like to label people whose opinion they don't like. And so to call Rob Sheeman a Doctor Who writer, she knows exactly who he is. Rude. You think, it's interesting, isn't it? Basically, what he's saying has no value. What he's saying isn't right. I'll only allow her, Sean, the issue, which is she owns Bad Wolf, and of course, how rude to attack my company. And that's the only one I'll allow, because obviously you would
Well,
defend.
I mean, if she'd have, if she obviously she hasn't looked at the context, and she should have been smarter and more savvy and had a bit more, and I don't know how, had a bit more nous about her, not to bite when whoever was interviewing her brought her a couple of scraps of a quote. She should have been smarter to say, well, I haven't read this, but I can have a look at it. But, you know, the show's not ready, but obviously we will have a look. That writer is a very esteemed writer, Doctor Who veteran. You know, this is what people used to do. This is what writers and filmmakers and TV producers used to do. They used to say, oh, like Stephen King hated The Shining. He used to he used to appropriately say, I wasn't a big fan of it, but it was a very accomplished piece of work. You know, there was a clever way of doing it. So she's been very silly in that regard. With what he's talking about, he's not commented on the quality. He's just looked at it like a writer would do. Said narratively, you've boxed yourself into a corner where if you with that doctor, well, we don't know anything about her. You go back, you're going to have to write them about different doctors or old doctors. So you've essentially you've taken the show down a cul-de-sac narratively, in which it's going to be very, very difficult to get out of that position. That's what he said. But obviously, she's not read it and doesn't understand. But that's the thing. She should have looked at it or played it off a little bit better instead of just booed. Because the minute that you call somebody a name, whatever that may be, you're othering them. And then once you put them in a box and ignore what they're saying, you can ignore the substance of what they're saying. If you say, oh well, they're just saying that to me because this, that, and t'other, then you could just ignore what they've said.
This is the very problem, lads, that I think has been going on for a while. Whether what got you mad was Shooty saying, go and touch grass if you don't like it. Whether it was the Jinx Monsoon saying, go and shut the effing door on your way out. The constant things with RTD on whatever rant he's on. Jane Tranter's been very strong on trans rights and various other things. But she's quite heavy on the inclusivity and diversity front, as in really hammering certain certain kind of major issues. And yet they won't listen to their own peers. Never, I mean, they won't listen to us, but people have written for their show when it was their show. They're not listening to them. If you've lost the room, if you've lost people who were in your crowd, that surely speaks volumes. And yes, Steve, what he said was logical. What he said was a reasoned argument. It wasn't slagging like Sean and Christian said. He was making a reasoning for the perpetuity of the show, and she's just dismissed from a position of ignorance. She's dismissed a colleague. I can't fathom it.
No, it's I don't get it either. It's just it's like they don't care how they are portrayed, like how they, because you've got to remember, as it stands now, Bad Wolf is producing the show, so she runs that, so she can just say what she wants. If at some point they turn around and said, you know, your actions or your words have detrimented the show, we're going to terminate the contract, or whenever the contract's ended, we don't see it going forward. I think they would then be like, oh, we have to respect it more and we have to respect other people. But at the moment, they're in charge. And I think RTD's the worst for it. His contract's in place. It's his friends, Bad Wolf. It's, you know, the BBC, when they hired him, held him in high esteem in terms of what he's done for Doctor Who in the past. So it seems like they can just get away with it. Because I don't think a lot of the stuff that Shooty was saying as well, I don't think anyone pulled him aside and said, why are you slagging the legacy fans off? These are the fans. Shut up. You know, talk about the show, talk about your involvement, but don't get into the sidetracks of anything. You know, like the politics and the the agendas.
Yeah.
Just hype the show, and I think that she needs to do the same. because at the moment, to a lot of fans and a former writer of an episode, the show is dead.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I
Well,
mean,
the show's terrible.
well, the trouble is we're not allowed to have a voice.
Have they?
Yeah, but we're not allowed a voice, are we? We're not allowed to say these things because we are the not we. We are the kinder not we. I mean, Christian here, we've got I totally agree with Forgotten Melody. People do not listen to differences of opinions anymore. It's either give me a like or you are a troll. Dangerous ground to tread. This cancel culture, it was called cancel culture a few years ago, and I thought, oh, it's on the fringes of universities and stuff. No way. Now it's everywhere. I've seen it in my own thread. I've seen it with YouTube comments. Oh, Brendan, you did a very heavy far-right show the other day, did I? You know, you need to pull yourself back in line. Do I? I mean, I'm the same as I ever was. It's just that sometimes you press a button. Sometimes you show a slide. Sometimes I quote RTD. How dare I, as a Doctor Who fan, quote bloody RTD? I stick something RTD's waffled on about.
Whose line, though? Whose line are you meant to bring yourself in line with? I mean, do people actually? I'm not being funny, and I'm not doing what these creators do, and I'm not belittling or people who have opinions, because you need the opinions. But do people not like? Do people not read about like actual like fascism and stuff? Do they not watch about it? Because this is how it starts. Get yourself in line. Don't move from that damn line. Yeah, because if you move, like, do people?
This is what I don't understand. Read 1984, everybody. I'm sure all of us have. And Animal Farm. I'm sorry, but ignorance is truth. Is a bit like what we're hearing all the time. Go on, Christian.
I would say, Brendan and Sean, it's this. You do not want to hear a difference of opinion if you don't have the capacity to effectively defend the position that you hold. If someone brings in a counter opinion, and even worse, if they bring in evidence, that's dangerous to your worldview. And so there's an urgent desire to shut down any potential divergent point of view as you try and train yourself and everyone in your bubble the art of right think, as you think only the one viewpoint of the universe, of the entire cosmos, is the right one, and it's the one that happens to be in your head. And certainly do not allow yourself to be educated, because that might undercut that worldview.
You know what I think's been lost as well? What I think's been lost as well, Divine, and is the fact that, sorry, it'll be a short point. I think what's as well, it's not just wanting to be proven wrong. I think people are in certain quarters, they did want to get to a point where have to go, oh, you know what, I might be wrong, or oh, you know what, Divine, you made me think about that in a different way. I'd like that in a conversation, but I love having a good Barney with somebody where you talk about something and say, yeah, but what about this? What about that? Do you not realize how this looks? And you might at a certain point come round to somebody else's opinion and say, you know what, don't agree with the 95% Divine. I see what you mean from an American point of view, blah, blah. I love that. And maybe I'm a bit of an I love that kind of thing, that debate, because otherwise nothing ever gets done. Everyone just stands around with their fingers in their ears.
Yeah, there's got to be debate, and I like debate. I like people pushing back. Squinty Mint, a few of our threads sometimes push back, and that's great. Jim Reeves, Sean's right. Belittling issues like fascism by using the word as an all-purpose insult devalues the power of what the world actually represents, and that's dangerous. You've got Marie. They are not intelligent enough to take criticism because they don't really believe most of what they say. If they are pushing for inclusion, those people without power, us, are speaking, but they don't mean our inclusion. So, in other words, their argument is void because they say it's only our inclusion that we're into. You lot are not included in inclusivity. And you think, oh, go fathom that illogical nonsense. It's a bit like, as Peter Harrington says, 2 and 2 is truly 5 to them.
For Brendan, something that you do illustrate in my mind is the capacity of someone to accept a changing view of a narrative over time as more information becomes available. I remember going back and watching your first shows, and you were so hopeful there was a lot of optimism for what RTD might be able to do to bring to the table to salvage Doctor Who. And you did not change overnight. You absorbed each new installment of the show, and as the series progressed, your viewpoint shifted. You were not someone who was locked into the same position that you had when you started, which is RTD is still the best thing that ever happened to this show. Your viewpoint had the capacity to change with fresh information. A lot of these people don't have the ability to grow in that way.
Yeah, and so I just want to remind everybody of her full statement. She said, as dead as we've ever known. That's really rude, actually, and really untrue. And that's why I threw up that picture of the CBeebies. There's nothing on telly at the moment. They've delayed the spin-off. Nobody like Disney are in prime position because they've got the contract, the co-streaming partnership with the BBC, and they haven't rushed to make a decision. So it is pretty dead. Creatively, it's dead. And I have to say, I do think it's creatively dead when something like, of all the things you can do at the end of the reality war, you think, let's have Billy Piper back again, and get her dressed up as the She-Hulk. Now, we've got a late incomer now. Are we allowing him? He's a naughty devil. He's a bit shy. John, are you okay? Look, he's El Gato. Are you trying to be a rato or something?
I am, yeah. Sorry, guys. Technical issue. I will have my face on screen in a few minutes to scare your viewers away.
Yeah, don't bother.
Are you in the bath as well?
Yeah.
You're getting out of the bath.
Yeah,
he's in the sip with me. We're double dropping. You said you wouldn't tell anyone about that, mate.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is John Yulden will arrive, and then we'll all leave.
Wait, are you the turd in the bath he was saying about? 'Cause that's not very nice.
Well, that's nice for him, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologise. That wasn't called for.
John, there's terrible context. Yeah, David Harden. I don't actually mind if they create a show that excludes me now, but they can't complain about us when they can't get enough viewers to replace and build a new fan base around. Quite right. Let's have a look. So she says that. There's poor Rob Sheeman. And then, I mean, this really got the fans going. So there's some really interesting ones here. Matthew Purchase. I think Jane calling Robert's comment as rude is really unhelpful. Although I understand why she is not best pleased and was reacting off the cuff live on radio. The problem is, with a lack of information, any quote made by anyone ever involved with production gets amplified. And just to add a few others, J-Boy, it will be back, but we're not sure who the Doctor is, when we'll see him. It's not a statement that contradicts what Freeman says at all. And then Beth says, ironically, the fact that the production team don't even know who the next Doctor will be just further supports Robert's point. Regardless of the fact the show will return one day, we're still in a limbo state with no real direction. We've essentially been left with nothing. So, hello, John Yulden.
Hey, yeah, this is my real face, everybody, not the avatar. How's everyone doing? All right?
All
okay.
Right.
So I take it you lot have completely had a pop at this ignoramus already this evening.
No, we don't like your comment. We're going to have to cancel you and take you off.
Shut him down.
Yeah. I do love back In the bath, John. I do love this at the moment because clearly their skin is being pricked by the fact that what people are saying is absolutely accurate and they've got no sensible retort to it whatsoever. So all they can do is insult, even though they can't back up. They're effectively, what they say kind of backs up what Rob Sherman said anyway. You know, you can't carry on with Billy Piper when you don't know what the circumstances are. I think she has no clue whatsoever from just that snippet what is happening in the future. It's all of the willy-nilly being hopeful. It's going to come good, everybody. Don't you worry. We all know that it's not going to come good. And again, she is just like Russell T Davies and Julie Gardner, they have lost their right to produce Doctor Who. They had the opportunity. That's gone now. They blew it. Time to move on. It needs a rest. Then it needs a new production team to come in. These people should not be anywhere near Doctor Who in the future.
My worry is that actually Bad Wolf is still in the picture. That she's just, everyone quiet for a while, and RTD might have gone, Shooty might have gone, but we can sort this out. And you just think you're not getting it. And everybody in the thread to me is saying we need fresh blood. This needs. I cannot believe. I mean, Christian was saying earlier about my, journey. I honestly can't believe I am arguing for a Doctor Who rest. I cannot.
It's mad, isn't it?
I was just thinking, the more we hear what they're talking about into like Bad Wolf, are they trying to convince us or themselves that the show's not dead and is going to come back?
Good point.
Because you can clearly see they've got nothing. They've said they've got nothing, and they're like, "Yeah, no, don't worry. We're doing something." But what? Apart from that TBB show, what are they actually bringing? They could even say, "Okay, so Disney, we're renegotiating with somebody else." They're not saying anything. It's just we've got this spin-off that I'm not interested in. That's 5 episodes that could have been more current Doctor Who, but so they just need to tell us something, anything, just a direction, a timeline of we're in these negotiations with somebody, you'll know. And they're just at the moment they're just like, trust us, trust us, please, trust us, please.
But Steve missed a bit out. They say trust us, and then they say and shut up.
Yeah, don't ask, stop asking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go away. Robert Payne, yep, no incoming writer has any guidance on what was intended with the Piper weirdness. I'd have it all evaporate as faded toy maker magic, of course. Well, yes, because I think we had somebody in the thread earlier say, by the time Doctor Who is made again, Billie Piper she'll have collected dust on that TARDIS edge. I mean, it's old news. And it's boring. What did RTD do in 2005? He denied bringing Paul McGann back because he thought he had to go fresh. And he probably made the right decision at the time. Keep going forward. So why would anybody in a couple of years' time think, right, now Billie Piper's just lined up. Why? We need to go forward, and it's a laughing stock as well. And let's have a bloody female doctor again. It just goes into that whole mess. Natalie here says, was she actually told fully what Sheeman said? Because it wasn't rude at all. It was actually quite an interesting observation that Doctor Who is in the kind of standstill it hasn't experienced ever before.
Can I just say what I find, and these are great questions, but what I find is she probably was told what Robert Shearman said, but the trouble you're finding with these people is they have such a high level of arrogance now that they cannot see that their whole idea and interpretation of Doctor Who is wrong and has been rejected. So these people, if they keep getting endless money, they will continue to do it again and again and again. What is it they say? What is the first sign of madness? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's what they are like. They will attack, and they will go and try and do what they've done before. It's failed. They just can't get it into their heads that it's failed, even if people within the industry are telling them it's failed. And I think we're starting to see more and more of people losing their minds within that production team. This won't be the last either. I suspect RTD will shoot his mouth off within the next few weeks. I have no doubts about that. And I think there'll probably be someone else that will say something as well.
John, you were on my show a week ago when we looked at RTD's rants.
Yeah.
He's about. I mean, I think he's had a sleep since, So, tonight we had, Doctor Who dead. How rude, how untrue. Well, prove it, love. Prove it. Tomorrow we'll get on to, Philip Morris. I don't think anyone will be disappointed with the news. An update from Film is Fabulous and from Philip Morris. And then it doesn't stop. We've got Simon Lydiard from Scaro Fanzine, the rumours of missing episodes hoarded in the 1970s, something that when he printed it at the time, and it's very interesting when we look at the origins of all this mess, he got quite an interesting complaint from a very renowned person. And we can look at that later. You know, somebody always has an opinion on these things. So there's a lot coming. But honestly, it's tasty, this debate, because it is not going away, is it? We've got, whether it's Jane Tranter, I have to say Julie Gardner seems to have stayed out of the line of fire this time. RTD's never shut up. Ncuti Gatwa has now moved on, but he never shut up when he was the Doctor. You've got Varada Sithu. She started to say her piece. And you just start to think, I really don't want the programme to be telling me what to think, who to like, who not to like, which march to go on, which politics to vote for. I'm sorry, can we just go to the planet? Remember when RTD in 2005 said, oh, we can't go to the planet Zog, nobody will get it. Or I so want it. Or get me that planet Zog now.
I was going to say, you know, not to try and rub it in, guys, but my season 13 box set turned up today.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Which I adore, and I'm going to put it on later. It's going to be an all-nighter for me, I reckon. But when I opened up the box, they've got the usual slip in there that talks about Doctor Who merchandise. You only have to look at that little leaflet to see how badly they've destroyed Doctor Who, because the merchandise is just awful. You know, they even say at one point, they say, oh, you know, get this Fourth Doctor memorabilia, right? But they're referring to Pertwee stories in it. So, I mean, again, this is a classic example of brand damage, you know, and I think in decades to come, they may look back on this and they will have the Doctor Who franchise next to brand damage in a dictionary somewhere, because this is on another level. This is more than Star Trek, and this is more than Star Wars. I really do think that Doctor Who is going to find it difficult to come back.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a quick story about, I think it was, I can't remember if it was Ncuti's first or second series, but my dad watched in the 70s, so Pertwee era, that was his era. And he came to me after he'd watched it and he went, I don't get this new show. Like, what's it about? I don't get it. And I was like, and I just looked at him dead in the face and went, it's not for you anymore. You know, my dad's in his 60s. And I went, hell, I don't think it's for me anymore. As a fan from, you know, since the, I think my first Doctor that I watched as it aired was the TV movie.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought, it's not even for me anymore. It's for people who watch TikTok. So
when you think all of us are having that little moment going, I don't think it's for me, but is it for you? And can you imagine in the old days of the 70s and 80s family all sat in the same room watching telly? So the granddad goes, is this for me? But it's for the kids. The kids are going, it's not for me. Is it for granddad? The parents are going, is it for the others? Because we're not getting it. And in the end, everybody in the room just goes, I'm off to the bog. Honestly, there's nobody left on the
Brendan, they had it. They had it, didn't they? They had this, though. Like, I came to Doctor Who in 2005. They had this. They literally had it. I saw it with my own family. Your grandparents were watching the Christmas special. Your mum watched it. Your dad watched it because it was quite decent to watch. The kid, and the irony is, the you know, like kid Brendan, there's lots of people out there who watch this show who spoke to on different levels. Maybe you were bullied. Maybe you were gay. Maybe you whatever. And it didn't force that down you and gave you a place to go, like actual place where you could go. And it was your little escapist of taking that from people. And that's why people are so angry. You've taken it from us. You've shit on it. Pardon my French. In the back. And you've really made a mess
and then given it back.
Really, really made a mess of it.
Honestly,
and to add insult to add insult to injury, what you've also stood there and you've gone, you've done this. It's your fault, and we're going. I haven't made this. You've made this.
tell you
You've done
what,
it.
I tell you what,
I'm telling you what I think of it, and you're telling me it's math.
John, you'll notice that tonight it's been a shit show, and I will have to try and distract everybody for a second.
Exterminate! Exterminate!
Gosh, I mean, but yeah, you're right, Sean. It's been an absolute disaster. Mind you, my story, Steve was telling his story, is Caves of Androzani Part 4. I did watch in the bath, and I was in it long enough not to do what you do, Sean, on a regular basis. I just watched the program, and I didn't. There was a turd in the bath, apparently, with Sean. John, this is what you've missed.
It's a good thing that the camera's off.
Hey,
and it's not in high definition.
Brendan, don't you Jane Tranter me. Don't make me shaman to your Tranter. I did not say I pooed in the bath. What I said was, and I am pointing even though you can't see me, what I said was, I don't make a habit of it, but accidents happen, okay? At least I can own up to what I accidentally did. So like the creators
I'm going to patronize it now. What a good boy you are for not pooing every time you're in the bath. Honestly, well done.
So he in the bath. He's actually
have a gold snowball. I want a gold star.
Yeah, he's recreated in the bath. Then the war between the land and the sea. Essentially, then that's what you're telling me tonight. Because that's what it's going to be when it turns up. So, Sean, you've outdone yourself again, mate.
Yeah, and none of us want to emulate
John,
it. Jess?
Who's made the bigger mess? Who's made the bigger mess? Or the creators of this show? I think we all know the answer.
Yeah,
we haven't got a photograph. That's the trouble. Just to compare, broadcasting, streaming, productions, and more relevance is going to change phenomenally over the next 5 years. Doctor Who, does it change again? Yeah, I know. John Go, what's rude is being asked to watch Rogue and call it Doctor Who. Good point. Lee Smith, yeah, we're not going there. David Harding, I know it was Sean. I don't know his analogy. He loved his analogies, but some of them are worrying. And if there was a psychoanalyst about, he'd be on a list.
He's got to stop those muscle relaxant exercises, isn't he? Really, blimey.
As Crimpling the Bloom says, the Queen did
pelvic floor.
Yeah. So yeah, the Queen did watch it once. It seemed to have respectability. Now, of course, we just feel as though, well, where the hell has it gone? So yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of arguments tonight about, Sheeman's rude, Doctor Who's not dead, we have no time for online warriors, but hooray for ourselves. Just get the gist of that tonight. I mean, Sheeman, how very dare you? Doctor Who's not dead, but I'm not going to give you any evidence. But you lot online, shut your face. I mean, honestly, but please blow out our candles for our 10 years anniversary. That's the gist of tonight, isn't it, Christian?
Just a lot of just a lot of that. Everything he says untrue. Just pat myself on the back. I'm great. Sorry,
That's right.
Just I'll throw that in there.
Yeah, they don't want to open discourse. They just want us to agree with what they want to hear in their own heads. Better yet, they'd like their opinions coming out of our mouths unprompted. That would make them the happiest. But, unfortunately for them, we actually have brains and we use them. That's a big sticking point with Bad Wolf right now.
Yeah. So I mean, God, how many times I want to do a show where I'm talking about other stuff. But, me and John are still trying to get our ducks in a row to do a season 19 deep dive. Is anybody up for a season 19 deep dive? Because it sounds like it just sounds like a great place to be. Season 19, never mind season 13. You think, oh, give me a bit of Visitation, give me a bit of Earthshock, give me a bit of Castrovalva. I'm there. Give me the plasmatons. Just get me that. That's better than what we've had. So if everybody wants us to do the deep dive on season 19, tell us now, because I'll bully and harass John to do it.
Oh
Start
yeah,
now.
twist my arm, terrible.
Just do it now. Start right now. We'll watch. We'll
Yeah.
just
But
waiting.
yeah, but when you think of this, you're thinking, excuse me, change not that much. Season 19 compared to season 2, I'm sorry, they are different programs, and
Yeah.
sorry, there's no comparison.
If you saw snippets of the Shooty series and you took the scenes out of it with the TARDIS in it, you could actually say, if you turn the volume off, you could say that you weren't watching a Doctor Who show. You wouldn't recognize it as a Doctor Who show. You would think you were watching some Mark II type show. That's what you would think you were watching, because of how it was written and how it was acted. That's the trouble with it. It is completely foreign to what Doctor Who was. And again, as I said a few minutes ago, these people have lost the right to actually produce Doctor Who, because they decided arrogantly to push their diversity nonsense into Doctor Who and said, this will be the big win. It has been categorically rejected by the UK audience and the worldwide audience, who have said, no, we don't like this, clear off. So it needs a fresh broom. It needs new people to come in who are actually going to take Doctor Who and the franchise seriously again and see what they can do to regenerate it. I had to put regenerate in there.
Yeah, well, obviously, as everybody has seen there, season 19's gone down as very popular. That was our show today. This is our show tomorrow. That's going to be a lively one, and we've made it live deliberately so that you can feedback. I've got loads of snippets and loads of fresh new material, and a latest news update from Film is Fabulous and from Philip Morris. And of course, we also have how this all started and how it all got nasty in the first place. It's a nice classic one, really. And as you know, Garbage gives us our Doctor Who credits regarding the Who pets, so there'll be a death tonight. Now, Sean, you've been with us, kind of. I don't know if you've been in the bath, but what are you up to on your channel? I mean, I dread to ask now, because it sounds as though it's all obsessed in certain things. But anyway.
No, honestly, no. There's so Review It Yourself. It's a film podcast, like film reviews at the FAF, essentially. But lately we've been getting, it's been going 4 years, which is mental. But lately we've been diving into literature. I've just released an episode with Peter Laws. He wrote a book about why we love. I did a really good interview with Roger Moorhouse, who did a book about the U-boats. So if you know what fascism is, go check it. And I've got episodes coming up where I interview Fiona Dodwell, who's written a book about haunted. That should be good fun. So talking to historian Katja Hoyer, British-German historian, about the dilemma of German actors and taking Nazi. So there's not just films, there's all sorts of stuff going on. So no, I'm absolutely loving it. But I love to take the time to come and join Brendan and basically just be the naughty kid in class. I've got to joke about Doctor Who, otherwise at this point. So thank you for having me on.
We'd pay to see you cry. No, sorry. I was no, so
speak for yourself.
Yeah. So John Yulden, you came in late. Johnny come lately. You've been sat on your backside doing absolutely butthole. You've been doing no streaming at all. You come in here, try and get all the glory. But what are you up to on Sci-Fi Chronicles 79?
Yeah, so I've got a Stargate SG-1 watch party tomorrow night. 2 episodes where we all watch it together in Discord, and then we chat in the YouTube live chat, which is great fun. And then obviously I'm talking to you, mate, about we've got to put a date in the diary to do our recording about the Master, which will be a good one that we've been talking about for a while. So
season 19,
it's season 19 as well. Yeah, there we go. Look at that quality.
The dust is optional.
So that's it really. That's what I'm doing on Sci-Fi Chronicles. So if you want a bit of Stargate or some Doctor Who or something else, just pop over and say hello and like and subscribe. But always a pleasure to be on here.
Well, yeah, and it's been a good one. 8 o'clock tomorrow night, we'll be back, and Philip Morris is good value. It's new material. I asked him specific questions based on before, and people coming back on him. I've obviously had feedback and an update from Filmers Fabulous. So that's tomorrow night at 8. Christian, thank you. It's been great contributions, and thank you for that. Steve, great to see you, and I think you're on tomorrow night again, aren't you?
Yeah.
So, and Christine, of course. So basically, thank you, everybody, and Sean and John, of course, and please subscribe to their channels. Let's finish with good old Doctor Who credits, and let's kill a Who pet. Here we go. Bye, everyone.
See ya.
RTD wants Sensphere shut down. Those Who pets have had the last hand up them. Time to die. This is giving me the creeps. This never happened on Finger Bobs. One by one, they're all mine. They don't like it up 'em. All this walking, I wish I had my Benidorm motor scooter. Cry havoc!